Hey, what is going on, everyone? So, with the introduction of the new normal and hard difficulty servers in Once Human, I've had some people ask for good areas to get healing items so that you don't need to use resource points to bring over healing items from your previous server. So, in today's video, I'll show you some good spots where you can get a good amount of healing items and hopefully it helps you out. Now, if it does, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below to help support the channel. But without further ado, let's get into it. So in order to craft activators at your supplies workbench, you need Detoxidents, and there are two different types of Detoxidents that you can use to craft activators. You have regular Detoxidents here, and then you also have Polydetoxidents. There's also another type of Detoxidant called a refined Detoxidant, which are used to craft stardust regulators, but you need a mimetic specialization in order to craft those. Unfortunately, I don't have that specialization, but just as an FYI, if you do want that one, it can appear as a choice at levels 40, 45, or 50. Now, the areas where you are most likely to find Detoxidants are at hospitals, monoliths, and silos. You can also find them in some Rosetta or Vulture controlled areas, and we'll talk about some of them later. But the type of Detoxidant that you can find is based on the level of area that you're in. And when you're in those areas, you'll want to look for medical supply containers like red medical bags and yellow or white medkit boxes that will be on the wall. Also, Vulture crates and Rosetta black and yellow bags in higher level areas also have a chance to drop Detoxidants, but the medical bags and medkits are guaranteed to have healing supplies. You'll also have a chance to get activators when looting these medical containers too. So if you're in the early game in phase 1 on your server, you'll only really come across regular Detoxidants based on my experience. Now some good spots for that, if I just scroll down right here, are right next to the first monolith that you go to. You will see that there is the Dayton Hospital area, which has a hospital there of course, and then you also have the Coastside Plaza over on the East Coast here. This also has a hospital here where you can loot medical bags and boxes. You also have 3 monoliths available in phase 1, which will always have medical bags and medkit boxes to loot. And monoliths are really great because each one has a teleportation tower right next to it, so you can easily teleport between them to get some quick supplies. So once the whole map opens up in phase 2, you can go hit the teleportation towers at all the different monoliths, and then you can just easily teleport between them to do a quick run of getting medical supplies. And when the whole map is open, it gets easier to find polydetoxidants. Now you can find them in hospitals across Chalk Peak. There's a hospital here at Paisley Plaza that you can go to get some polydetoxidants. And then there's also one right down the road in Mining Town that you can go to get some more polydetoxidants. And then you can head up to the hospital in Blackfell Fallen Zone to get some more medical supplies. And also, just as a side note, there is a great weapon and gear crate farming route in Blackfell Fallen Zone, and I'll link my video on it down below in the description if you're interested. Also, in addition to hospitals and monoliths, you can also find medical supplies in silos. Now, from my experience, the level of silo and difficulty will determine the types of Detoxidants that you can find and the frequency of finding them. Lower level silos like Sigma or Phi seem to mainly drop regular Detoxidants and sometimes polydetoxidants, while the higher level silos seem to be more consistently dropping polydetoxidants. And then the difficulty of silo here seems to be tied to how often you can actually find medical supplies, with the normal difficulty option being less often and then the hard or pro options being more often. So we've covered some hospital locations, monoliths, and silos, but now let me show you some other spots that are good for getting medical supplies. So at 73 Source Extraction Point here in Red Sands, there are some medical bags and medkit boxes in the main building in this area. And you also have the Alternate Reality Research Institute on the eastern side of the map, which is a pretty popular one, because not only does it have some medical bags for you to loot, but it also has black and yellow Rosetta bags throughout it that have a chance to drop different types of Detoxidants. So you aren't guaranteed in these black and yellow bags to get Detoxidants, but it does have a chance to drop them. And another popular location is Sunshine Farm. So, Sunshine Farm is a vulture controlled area, and detoxidants have a chance to drop from the vulture crates. There is also a medical bag here that can have different types of detoxidants as well, but the main reason to go here is for the vulture crates, and it works similar to the black and yellow Rosetta bags, where it's not guaranteed to get a detoxidant in these crates, but you do have a chance to get them. Now, if you're looking for refined detoxidants for those stardust regulators, all three of these areas that I've mentioned here have been known to have them, but they seem to be really low drop chances. Now, that's likely because the stardust regulators that you can craft with them have 15 uses, so you can make them last longer and you don't need to farm them as often. But if you are looking for them, I would recommend going to 73 Source Extraction Point, Alternate Reality Research Institute over here, or Sunshine Farm. Also, for all of the locations that I've mentioned already, it's important to know that most lootable items in the game are on a 4-hour global refresh timer. So if you're on the US Eastern Time Zone, for example, the loot refreshes at midnight, 4 a.m., 8 a.m., and so on. So if you loot a medical bag at 7:59 a.m., let's say, and then it turns to 8 a.m., you can re-log into the game and that bag will be lootable again. Now, we actually have a timer for this in our Discord community, and you can set that channel to alert you whenever the loot refreshes, so feel free to join our Discord in the description below if you're interested in that. Also, a great way to conserve medical supplies so you don't end up running too low, especially on these hard difficulty servers, is by using the festering gel deviation. So when you use this deviation, it will restore your health and sanity for you and the other players near you. So you don't even need to place it down as well. You can just go ahead and choose the flawless fortification option and just kind of hold it here, and you can see it's healing my health right here. And then if I walk around and there were other players near me, it would also heal them. And then when you're done, you can just recall it back to your cradle. So you can kind of think of this as a free heal that just has a cooldown so that you can just use this whenever you want to, and that way you don't need to burn through your activators as quickly. Also, another tip is if you hit F3 on your keyboard and you go to the regular event tab here, you'll have an event called Astral Duelets. So basically, you can see that you receive 20 Astral Duelets at 6 a.m. every day, and you can redeem them for various items here, including activators. So you have a weekly limit of 8 activators. You can also get an adrenaline shot here for, you get one of those per week. But these are really great if you're ever out somewhere and maybe you forgot activators or you ran out of them and you just need them quickly. You can just go into your menus right here, redeem them, and they will get added directly to your backpack. Also, another tip is that when it comes to cooking with meat, make sure you're paying attention to the type of meat that you're using. So I just have canned lunch meat right here, and if you actually click on the meat option there in the ingredients, you can choose a different type of meat, and you can see there are 3 types of meat that will affect your health. So you have pork that slightly increases your max HP, you have goat meat that restores your HP slowly, and then you also have bear meat that noticeably increases the max HP. Now, if you're into animal taming as well, you can also get pristine versions of those items. I don't do a lot of animal taming, so I don't have any of those, but I would recommend going for goat meat. You can use the lethal rabbit deviation to just go ahead and get goat meat for you automatically, and this is a really great one because it restores your HP slowly, so as you're eating, you're also, satisfying your hunger, but you're also healing yourself. And at least on these hard servers for me, I am rarely ever at full health because things can hit you pretty, a good amount. So I think using goat meat is a great way to just restore HP kind of passively. Also, another tip here is I use the Map Genie map that I will link down in the description below. And what you can do with this map is if you just hide all the icons, which this is the default look for it, and you just search for the word medkit here, you will see there are a bunch of locations for emergency medkits and medkits all around the map. Now, this doesn't have every single location. I have found some locations that are not on this map, but this is just good to have in case you're really hurting for supplies and you need to find medical supplies quickly. You can just go ahead and use this map and just find all these sort of medical bags all over the map. So there you have it, folks. There are some hospital locations, monoliths, and silos, as well as some other areas that you can find some more medical supplies. And then we also did a few other tips as well related to healing and HP and just medical supplies in general. So I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below to help support the channel. And if you know of any other great areas to find medical supplies, definitely leave a comment down below. I would love to see it, and we can talk about it in our Discord community as well, which, by the way, if you do want to join that too, that link is down in the description below. We've got the loot timer over there. We've got a bunch of helpful resources, a bunch of players in there that are always helping other players with their questions. So I highly recommend you join if you're interested in that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope the video helped you out, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.